In reading today in ELA, we're starting a new topic. I'm very excited. Our topic is sort of connected to what we were learning about before winter break. Before winter break, we were learning about Native Americans. Then we learned about the colonists. Remember the people who lived here in communities called colonies. And then we learned about, well, what happened after the 13 colonies. We learned that the settlers moved west and they got more land. And that's how we became the United States. That's how we became a state like Indiana. So this week, we're going to start learning about government. We're going to talk about, well, how did we really become a country? We know we got the land from the Native Americans, but then what happened? How did we decide who was in charge? How did we decide what rules to have, what laws to have? This is what we're going to study this week, and I am so excited to do this with you today. Today, we are going to talk about some really important vocabulary. So important that we are going to learn these words before we start some reading today. First, we're going to look at our success criteria. Students are showing focused attention right now. That means you're sitting up, you're sitting still like you would in class, you're looking and listening to the instruction.
Our topic right now in social studies is understanding the significance of fundamental democratic principles and ideals. Yesterday, we worked on learning some important vocabulary words like government, rights, equality, principles, and fundamentals. Today, we're going to continue at level 2 and learn more words that help us understand our topic of government.
All right, the first thing we're going to do today is go into a breakout room, and I want you to think about that word government. I want you to think about what you know about government, and I want you to share out in your breakout room anything you already know about the government. The first thing we're going to do is practice some vocabulary words by listening to the definition and saying the definition with some hand motions. So I'm going to click the video. We're going to look and listen to the word and the definition. Then we're going to practice it together, and we're going to do the motions together. Our first word is government. Here we go.
Government. Government is the system and people who make the rules in a community.
Okay, our first word is government. We're going to watch the video again, and this time I want you to try to say the definition with me and do the hand motions with me. Here we go.
Government. Government is the system and people who make the rules in a community.
Great job. I saw some hands moving. Let's do it one more time, thinking about that word government. What is government? Here we go.
Government. Government is the system and people who make the rules in a community.
So looking at our government slide, we have some pictures. I see a picture of a room full of people. And this helps me because I remember that the government says, the definition, says government is people who make the rules. So this is a picture of some of the people in government who come up with our laws and come up with our rules that help us. I also see a picture of a building, and this is a building that you might have seen downtown Indianapolis. And government is there's sometimes special buildings that go with government, where the people might meet in special buildings where they come up with the laws. So that's why I put a picture of the building. So our example sentence says, the government makes laws that keep people safe. Let's say that again. The government makes laws that keep people safe. Awesome. Our topic this week is all about government, the system, and the people who make the rules in a community. Let's go on to our next vocabulary word. Our next word is a word you probably have heard of before. This is a word we talk about a lot of times in history when people were treated unfairly, when there was an injustice. This word is rights. We're going to focus our attention. We're going to look and listen to the definition, and we're going to do the hand motions. Who's ready to do it with me? Let's listen and watch first, then we'll do it together.
Rights. Rights are the opportunities everyone has.
Okay, so rights are the opportunities that everyone has. So let's think about these examples. I see what looks like a lunch or breakfast at school. I see a teacher teaching, and I see a student desk. The example says, students have rights like food, a teacher who teaches, and your own workspace. So when you come to school, everybody has the same rights. Everybody gets breakfast and lunch. Everybody has a teacher. Everybody has their own desk. That's a right that belongs to you. Let's say the definition together and do the hand motions that go with it. Here we go.
Rights. Rights are the opportunities everyone has.
All right, let's do that again. Rights are the opportunities that everyone has. Think about our examples like breakfast and lunch, a teacher, and a desk. Here we go.
Rights. Rights are the opportunities everyone has.
Great job. So far, we've learned 2 words. Government is the system and the people who make the rules in a community. Next, we have rights. Rights are the opportunities everyone has. Let's go to our next word. Our next word is equality. I'm guessing we have a lot of students who know some things about equality. Let's look and listen to our definition.
Equality. Equality is when everyone is treated the same.
All right, let's try that definition together. We're focusing on our instruction. We're talking with the teacher, and let's do the hand motions. Ready? Equality.
Equality. Equality is when everyone is treated the same.
Let's do that one more time. And I want you thinking about these pictures when you say the definition. Think about what these pictures might mean.
Equality. Equality is when everyone is treated the same.
In our pictures, I notice that there's an equal groups picture. I notice there's 4 equal groups and there's 5 blue dots in each. That helps me think about the word equal and equality. Everyone is treated the same, means everybody has the same, sort of like equal in math. I also notice a picture with hands with different skin tones. And I know we have talked before about in our history of a country, Sometimes people with skin tones are not treated equally. And it can be lots of different examples. We have seen already, as we have studied some texts, how students with black and brown skin tone were not allowed to go to school with students with white skin tone. That's not equality. Everyone is not treated the same when we separate people because of their skin. So this picture reminds me about equality, that it doesn't matter what you look like, everyone is treated the same. That means equality. Let's keep going to our next word. Our next word is a difficult one, but I think we can learn this one if we connect it to a word we already know. I like to connect this word to opinion. We have already learned about opinion, which is something you think, feel, or believe. So this word today, connecting to government, is called principles. Can you say principles? Let's focus on the definition, listening to the video, and then we're going to try the hand motions together.
Principles. Principles are the basic ideas or beliefs.
All right, do you see how we're doing the same hand motion as opinion? It's because the word belief is in our definition. So let's try this one. We're going to focus together, saying it with the teacher and doing the hand motions with the teacher.
Principles. Principles are the basic ideas or beliefs.
So our example sentence says, Devante understands the principle that you should be kind to others. A principle is a basic idea you understand or a belief you believe. So our example says Devante understands the principle. That means he understands that you should understand or believe that you should be kind. So all of us have principles. We have ideas that we believe. I'm guessing a lot of you can relate to Devante. I'm guessing a lot of you share the same principle with Devante, that you also think you should be kind to others. Another principle might be you should work hard in school. Lots of people believe we should work hard in school. Lots of us have the idea that we should work hard in school. That's another principle that you understand and believe. When we talk about government, we have to know that there are ideas and beliefs that we understand and believe. So sort of like equality. Equality is when everyone is treated the same. That's a principle. Who here believes that everyone should be treated the same? I do. That's a principle that I believe. Another word we're learning is rights. Rights are the opportunities everyone has. I believe that students should have food at school, a teacher at school, and their own desk. I believe that's a right everybody should have. So I believe in rights as a principle. We will continue practicing these words throughout the week. Another word we're going to learn is called fundamentals. Can you say fundamentals? Let's focus our attention on the definition.
Fundamentals. Fundamentals are the basic rules.
All right, let's try that one together. You're saying the definition with me and doing the hand motions. Here we go.
Fundamentals. Fundamentals are the basic rules.
All right, so everybody here probably knows what these pictures are about. These pictures are talking about rules, and then I see Gaga ball. I see some kids playing Gaga ball in the pit. Our example sentence says, the fundamentals of Gaga ball are you have to hit the ball with your hand, and you are out if the ball hits your leg. Fundamentals are the basic rules. So if you know how to play Gaga ball, you know that the basic rules are you have to hit the ball with your hand, and if the ball hits your leg, you're out. Those are the rules. Fundamentals is a big word that means the basic rules. Earlier, we talked about the word government. We talked about how government is a system and people who make the rules in our community. So what kind of rules are they making? Well, we have some fundamental rules in our society. We have some basic rules that everybody has to follow. These rules might be things like you cannot steal. You cannot take something that is not yours. That's a basic rule that our society, our community agrees that's not a good thing to do. So fundamentals is a big word for rules. Today, boys and girls, we're going to think about these vocabulary words as we look at a text about Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez. Today, we're going to read half of a text, and we're going to really focus on Rosa Parks. A lot of us already know about Rosa Parks and how important she was and what she did to earn equality for everyone. Today, boys and girls, we're going to read this text. We're going to talk about our vocabulary words that we might understand. Don't forget, today we are focused on words like fundamentals, principles, equality, rights, and government. To find our task today for reading, you will click on Activities, Assign to Class folder, Read, ELA, and our task today is called Understanding Principles and Ideals, Day 1. Today's the first day that we are learning about government. Please find your task and open it by clicking Add Response. When you open our task today, you will see our text about Rosa Parks. On slides 1 and 2 is our text today, where we're going to learn about Rosa Parks as we think about our vocabulary for government. The first job we're going to do is read our text, and then we're going to discuss some questions. This is not part of your independent work. You're going to be working with the class and the teacher, so you only need to be on slides 1 and 2. We're only going to be on slides 1 and 2 working together as we talk about what we understand. Let's go ahead and take 1 minute to silently read the text to yourself before we read it together. I'm going to be the reader. Students are listening and thinking about our vocabulary for today. This is called Fighters for Rights, Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez by Harper Larios. Many Americans have worked hard to make sure that all citizens have the same rights. Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez were leaders in the fight for rights for all. Rosa Parks, it is my right to sit anywhere. After the Civil War, Jim Crow laws kept African Americans from enjoying all their rights. Public places were often segregated. For example, at the movies, whites could sit downstairs. African Americans had to sit in the balcony. African Americans could not swim in the same pools or go to the same schools as whites. In many places, African Americans were also kept from voting. Rosa Parks, an African American, twice tried to register to vote in Alabama. She had the right to vote, but was turned down both times. Together with many others, Rosa Parks worked to change Jim Crow and other unfair laws. On December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks boarded a city bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She was going home from work. The first seats of the bus were for white passengers only. Rosa Parks sat behind those seats in a seat for African Americans. Soon, the bus was full. A white man got on. The bus driver told Rosa Parks to give her seat to the man. She politely refused to move, so the bus driver called the police. Rosa Parks let herself be arrested because she wanted to show people how unfair Jim Crow laws were. People thought it was unfair that Parks was arrested, so they protested against the bus company. The protest went on for 13 months. As a result, the laws were changed. Here's a picture of Rosa Parks getting arrested, and here's a picture of Rosa Parks on the city bus. Click on slide 2 to continue our text. In her autobiography, Parks wrote, "I had no idea when I refused to give up my seat on that Montgomery bus that my small action would help put an end to the segregation laws in the South. I only knew I was tired of being pushed around. I was a regular person, just as good as anybody else." In our text, I also see a timeline of events. Timelines are ways that authors organize ideas and can show us when something happened. Today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about our vocabulary words that we're learning. We're going to talk about it as a group in our breakout rooms. Our first question today, what right did Rosa Parks want?
Can I go use
What
it?
right did Rosa Parks want? I'm going to put you into your breakout room, and I want you to share in your room about the word right. What right did she want? We're going to go into our breakout room now. You have now had a chance to talk in your breakout room about the right that Rosa Parks wanted. Using your raise hand button, who can share out about the right that Rosa Parks wanted? Go ahead, Gloria.
She wanted everybody to be treated equal.
So I'm hearing a few words from Gloria. I'm hearing the word equal, like equality. Equality is when everyone is treated the same. And that's the right that Rosa Parks wanted. Thank you for sharing, Gloria. We're going to look at our second question now. Question number 2. How was the government involved in Rosa Parks' story? How was the government involved? Remember, the government is the system and people who make the rules in a community. How was the government involved in this story? I'm going to put you in your breakout room. I want you to share your thoughts on how the government was involved. Our question 2 that we discussed in breakout rooms was, how was the government involved in Rosa Parks' story? How was the government connected to this? I'm looking for a friend who can share out by using the raise hand button. How was the government connected to this? Angela, go ahead.
It was the government wasn't the government. She the other people was treated unfairly.
Right. So we heard in the text about how people were treated with inequality, not fairly, not the same. And we read in the text about how that was what was happening in her community. I remember in the text, it talked about how African Americans and white people could not swim in the same pools, how African Americans were not allowed to vote, how at the movie theater, white people and African Americans could not sit together. So these were the rules in her community. The government made laws that segregated people because of their skin color. So we know that the government was involved. The government sometimes makes laws and rules that are not equal. They're not fair, just as Angela was sharing. Thank you, Angela, for sharing. Boys and girls, we don't have time to finish all of our questions today, but I want you to keep thinking about what you know about Rosa Parks. And today I want you to really think about these 5 vocabulary words. We're going to continue talking about government this week, and we're going to build our knowledge using words like equality, principles, fundamental, rights, government. Let's talk about today's task starting on slide 3. During your work time today, on slide 3, you have a link to Brain Pop Junior. Your directions say to watch the video and then complete the easy quiz. This is one thing you're going to do on your own today on slide 3. First job, watch the brain pop, complete the easy quiz. The second job you need to do today is use our vocabulary words correctly. That starts on slide 4. Let's look at slide 4 together. Here you have our definition, but our vocabulary word has a blue box over it. It's hidden. Your job today is to read the definition, and I want you to move the correct vocabulary word over and put it on top. When you are dragging these words, if they go underneath, if they're hiding, you can click it. You can click the dots, click order, and click bring to front. This is a skill we have practiced before that you might have to do. Your job today is to pick which word goes into the definition. You have 5 vocabulary words to practice today that we have learned about. If you are stuck and you need help, don't forget you can go back to view instructions and you can watch the teaching again. Here I have slides that will help you understand all 5 vocabulary words. That's your second job today. Job number 1 is to watch Brain Pop and do easy quiz. Job number 2 is to drag the correct vocabulary word into each blank. Don't forget to reflect on your success today. Today we focused on level 2, understanding important vocabulary. I want you to tell me how you feel about today's lesson and give me a reason why. It says, I feel like this because. Tell me about your success today. When you are done with these 3 jobs, you will push the green check to turn in.